everybody on FlossTube. Welcome to our channel, Sun City Stitchers. We are super excited. This is our very first video that we're doing, and so we're a little nervous. I'm Carlene, and I am an avid cross stitcher, and this...
I'm Marlene, and I'm also an avid cross stitcher.
And we are twin sisters. And we chose the name Sun City Stitchers because we live in El Paso, and it is known as the Sun City. The sun shines here over 300 days a year. And for us, that's wonderful because we grew up in North Dakota where there were very long winters. So we love the sunshine, we love the warmth. And so those of you who don't know where El Paso is, it's in Texas, but it is in the very corner, the very tip of Texas. And so it's where there are 3 states that meet, 2 U.S. states, Texas and New Mexico, and then 1 Mexico state. So we're right on the border, the U.S.-Mexico border, but we have a very safe, very accepting community that truly is a melting pot, and we love living here. So that's why we said, you know, if we're gonna do a channel, we're gonna name it after the place where we love living. We come from a family of stitchers, crafters really. 3 of us, there's 5 girls in the family. 3 of us cross stitch. Our oldest sister is a seamstress and she quilts. I quilt also. And then our middle sister is an artist. She taught art in the high school for years. And so she is more crafty in that way. The rest of us didn't inherit that gene. I am a retired educator. I was in education for 30 years. I spent 15 years in the classroom as a 4th grade teacher, and then I became an administrator, and I worked at an elementary level as an assistant principal and also a principal. And I've been retired now for 7 years, so I have lots of time for all my crafting and cross-stitching, and I love it. And so, Marlene, tell us a little bit about you.
I was also a teacher for 30 years. I taught 1st grade, 2nd grade, and 3rd grade. And I also was a campus literacy coach for a few years. I really enjoyed that. And I've been retired for 6 years. And now I'm doing tutoring online with an online company. And I have 8 little students, I believe. 5 of them are from the El Paso area, and the other 3 are from across the country. 2 from the New York area and 1 from Chicago area, and
1 in Maryland, right?
Oh yeah, 1 in Maryland. So yeah, I guess
9.
I have 9 students, and so I lose track because I keep acquiring students. So anyway, but I enjoy it. It's really good. I like it that I can do everything online, so I get to stay home and still do what I love. So I enjoy it. But it also gives me time for my stitching.
And we both are proud owners of cats. I have 2, a male and a female. They were litter mates, Mickey and Minnie. They are taking naps right now. Otherwise, I'm sure they'd be here contributing to
Making an appearance.
Yes, contributing to our first floss tube.
And I have 1 little cat, and her name is Honey. And she's very busy, and she likes to help me when I am teaching.
Yes, she always makes an appearance. Yes. She prances across the desk all of the time.
Gets in front of the camera so the kids can't see.
Since this is our first floss tube, we thought we would share a little bit about like our favorite designers. And so we're going to start by doing that and just showing maybe a piece of work from a favorite designer. So that's how we're going to start. So Marlene, do you want to start? Yes. Who are your favorite designers?
Okay, one of my favorite designers is Paula Vaughn. This is one of her pieces, Good Neighbor. Is it okay?
Yes. Here, let's position it a little. we get a
Yeah,
little
a
bit of a glare.
I think
But
we tip it up.
if you all have not stitched Paula Vaughn, she is not quite a full coverage, but close to it, because you see almost everything
Yes.
here is solid cross stitch.
Yeah.
A little bit of sky up here maybe isn't, but it's a pretty much full coverage.
Lots of back stitching, lots of color changes.
Yes.
But I love.
She loves color changes and she doesn't mind back stitching. So that's one of her favorite designers.
Do you want to do one now?
Yes, I'll do one of mine. One of my favorite designers is Shepherd's Bush. And I have just a little small one that I did several years ago. This was their series Scatter. And this one was Scatter Sunshine. So I just happened to get this one out to put it up now for May. This is one I finished. I finished it as a little fat box. And it's done on quite big count. So it's an easy, fast stitch, something really relaxing. So Shepherd's Bush is definitely one of my favorite designers.
Mm-hmm. And another one of my favorite designers is Little House. This was their series a few years ago.
Farmhouse Christmas.
Farmhouse Christmas. And so that one is
It came with the 9 little patterns,
yes.
and they came out like
and
one a month.
It used mostly the classic Colorworks.
So lots of fun threads. Really pretty.
Yeah, it was really fun. It was a really fun thing to stitch.
Another one of my favorite designers is Victoria Sampler. And this is one that I did a few years ago, another one that is coming out this month. This one is called Strawberry Fields. And a lot of, like, the house is done, but then there's some rows that are more like specialty stitches. So it's a really, they finish up really pretty. Again, this is one that I finished myself in a like a frame mounted one. But that's one of my favorite designers. I love her designs.
Okay, and then another one of my favorite designers is Chatelaine. Another huge piece. We did this one. I did this one after I visited London in 2018. I just finished it this year in January.
And then it's all the different landmarks around London.
And the one that is on every one is Big Ben. It's in every side.
It's on each side
Yes.
here. So these are
the cute little
labor intensive.
Yes.
When did you start this one, Marlene?
2018 in June.
June 2018, and then she finished it in January. Now we don't stitch on projects until we finish them. We have lots and lots of works in progress going all of the time. Some people, that drives them crazy. It doesn't to us. We have no problem with having lots of projects started.
It keeps me motivated, because that way I
that's
don't
what
get bored
I
with
think
something.
too. We never get bored. We always have something that we feel like stitching. So you're not tied to doing that.
This one also has, I don't know if you could see it before. Let's see if we can put it. It has lots and lots of beads.
Yes,
so
see all the
lots
sparkle. Lots of sparkle. You can really see because the light catches it here.
Beads took a long time to put on because there were so many.
Yeah. The last designer that I'm going to mention that's one of my favorite is Faithwurks Designs. Nancy Wahler is the designer and happens to live here in El Paso. El Paso is her home. And so we benefit from getting to see some of her stuff first. But I love her projects. Most of her projects are pretty quick finishes as far as stitching. This was one she did a while ago, a lollipop series. It was called Clover Hill Farm. Clover Hill Farm. And so the top of the spool was the little farm design. And then down at the bottom was just like the little sheep pasture. So just really darling, really cute. And a fun, kind of unique finish, because you kind of run out of wall space and you can only have so many pillows. And so this one's really cute. It looks cute just tucked somewhere in a little corner. But Faithwurks is one of my favorite designers. So that's one we'll share there. Marlene, what about April? Do you have some showcase, some things to show us that are finished?
Okay, first, this was one that I finished. This is Erica Michaels Berry. This is the Jingle Berry. And this was done on 40 count gauze. And then Carlene finished it for me.
It's a tent stitch. I'll hold it up a little bit closer. So it's really only just a half cross stitch. But it is tiny 40 count gauze.
And it was all stitched. I mean, it wasn't done on red fabric. All the red that you see was actually stitching.
The gauze is
white.
Is almost transparent.
Yes.
And then if you have not stitched on gauze, and then we filled in everything. This top, the finishing, this is Lady Dot. I don't know if you've heard of her, but she has a lot of really cute items for finishing. Trims like this. This was a fuzzy trim, but she has some other that's more like a rickrack. She has some wools. Lots of really fun things to use when you're finishing something. I have one that was a finish for the showcase today. This was a Faithwurks. Nancy does a camp every year up in the mountains in New Mexico, Sacramento Mountains, usually October. And this was one of our camp projects. It's called the Stitcher's Pyramid. So we stitched all the sides. I see some little fuzzies here that are bugging me. We stitched all of the sides, and then we got the finishing directions on how to finish it. So I had gotten it stitched, but I had not finished it. And I got into the craft room this week and got it finished. So just really cute. Be watching. I think she might do some more maybe. So we're hoping she does some more because these are really fun stitches.
And then another one that I have a finish of is Early Christmas Morn. Was this another
Blackbird. A blackbird design. This is a blackbird design.
So it's made into a drum. Carlene did the finishing for me. So
if you have not finished as a drum, I mean, it looks like it would be hard, but it's actually very simple. A really, really fun finish. I did it yesterday afternoon, and just really, it turns out really cute.
It turned out really nice.
So I love the banding, the way it has the Merry Christmas there that was stitched, and then the top with the really pretty design, just really pretty. So that was a finish. Did I have something else that was a finish? Yes. This was another Faithwurks design several years ago. He is a shelf sitter. This is Santa. Oh, and you know what? He is holding in this hand, he has a list, but it's not tacked yet because we don't have, my husband and I do not have any children. And so I put on the list, he's holding a list that's he's making a nice list. And so I put all my great nieces and nephews, and we're expecting in just a couple of weeks, twins, a boy and a girl. So I have to add those next couple of names before I tack that on. And then, I don't know, we may have some others, but right now, just 2 coming. So anyway, but he has his long legs. And I just love him. I did not finish him. He was sent up to a lady in Spokane who does just a fabulous job with finishing, any type of finishing that you might need. But any of my little shelf sitters that have to be stuffed like this, go to her because she does such a good job, just phenomenal. I'll check with her if she's okay with me sharing information. I'll put that in the comments down below so that you have contact information in case you need a really good finisher. She's very reasonable. Turnaround time is pretty quick, and but she just does a great job. Okay. Marlene, you have another one.
Yes, this was another Faithwurks design. This was one that she gave to us at Spring Getaway. She did a Spring Getaway.
Just
class.
like a Saturday
Yeah,
stitch.
Saturday.
We all
So
there's a group of us here in El Paso that are stitchers, and so we have we do like twice a month. We get together and do stitch-ins, and then in the spring she does a getaway, and this was the getaway project.
This was another one. So Carlene's gonna finish this one for me.
Yes, Marlene does not like to finish.
I do not like to finish.
She likes to stitch, but she doesn't like to finish. So that means I finish my stuff and then I finish her stuff. And then our older sister Phyllis, she's also a cross stitcher. She does not like to finish either. So when she comes to visit, she brings her stuff. And but it's fun. It's a fun sister thing to do. So I don't mind it at all. We have some. Oh, you know what? I have a couple of other things. I have this. That was an April finish. This is a shepherd's bush. I have been working on this for years and years and years.
It's herb gatherer, right?
The herb gatherer, yes. I finally got it done. The last thing I had to do was add the little ribbon off of her apron and get that tacked down, and I got that done. So I'm going to order the special mat from the framer that Shepherd's Bush uses because I want her matted and framed. So this is not one that I'll be finishing. She's going to get framed, hopefully in the not too distant future. And then I have another one that I'm not quite finished with, but I want to share it. And you know, I think this pattern came from the Leisure Arts, those books, you know, that we used to be able to get. Maybe you still can get them in the mail. But it's called An Irish Blessing. And the verse is so pretty. I've been wanting to start this for such a long time. And in March, I finally had a reason to start. And I have just some back stitching down there on the bottom. And then there's like a bouquet of little shamrocks that go up there in the corner. So I'm excited. This one I want to get done this spring so that I can enjoy it next year. We're seasonal displayers, so our projects get brought out and we enjoy them for a while, and then they get stored and we put new stuff out. That way, nothing just that we try not to have finished stuff sitting in a drawer that never gets to be displayed or never gets used. So those are finishes or near finishes for April. How about SAL Progress, Marlene? How are you doing with your stitch alongs? Oh, what's that?
This is the one that I made good progress on in April.
Oh,
this is my Anniversaries of the Heart.
This is a Blackbird design, yes, Blackbird also. Design.
And I had wanted to get for my April. My goal was to finish
this one.
The cherished. It's Clara Ellen, but I did it as Cherished Memories in honor of my dad.
Each block on this is for a family member. Yeah.
Mostly
grandparents and parents. And then there will be a block that's for sisters.
And then I also got to start on this one, and this one's going to be for my grandmother on my dad's side.
This one right here is for
that's
paternal
Moonlit Garden. No, Moonlit Visitor.
Moonlight Visitor. Yeah. Yes. This is a really big piece because there are 12 designs.
Yes.
And then and then 2 bonuses.
Yeah.
Yes, and then 2 bonuses. So it's a large piece. But you're making good progress on that, yes. Marlene.
And then I have really one pretty. More that I have made good progress
And what threads are you using on that, Marlene?
A combination of Weeks Dye Works, Classic Colors, and sampler threads.
Okay, so some of all of those.
Yes.
Lots of overdyes.
Yes, lots of overdyes.
Very pretty.
And then I had one more that I was making good progress on. It's another little house. It's From Sea to Shining Sea. And
This one came in with in six actually different parts.
Yeah.
Each pattern, each house was a pattern, and then we got a pattern for the border.
Yeah, and it was West Coast.
Yeah, it goes from the West Coast and then Southwest mountains, Midwest, and the East Coast.
Yes. And so this is what I have done. My goal for April was to get the Southwest block done. And then I also was able to get the border on the top done. And I'm hoping to get the border on the bottom done before the end of April.
Okay. And now, I noticed you started here. Was there a reason why you started there?
Yes, I started there because that was one of my March Madness stitching.
Okay, and you know what? We'll talk a little bit more about what we did for March Madness because it leads into what we're doing for May for Stitch MAYnia. Mm-hmm. So we'll talk a little bit about that, even though it's in the past. We'll mention that. Okay, so now we're ready to talk about SAL Progress.
Yes.
So we have similar tastes in cross stitch. Yes. So we do a lot of the same projects. Like I did the London Chatelaine project as well. And so our SALs, we're doing all the same SALs. Mm-hmm. So let's start with our Home Sweet Home.
Okay.
Home Sweet Home is in the Just Cross Stitch. If you don't get this magazine, you can buy it. Walmart has it. It comes out every other month, but Faithwurks has a series this year that's a SAL. She also has a Facebook group, so if you're on Facebook, you could get on the SAL. Just search for Home Sweet Home SAL, and Nancy will add you to it. There are 2 houses that come out in each edition of the magazine. So these came out at the beginning of the year. And then this was the second set, and then these just came out now for the 3rd edition, and then there will be 6 more houses, so we'll have a total of 12 when we get done. So Marlene, how are you coming on yours?
This is what I have done again. I have something done in the middle because of March Madness.
But look,
stitching.
you've got stuff started in all of them.
And except for this one. This one is going to be a Stitch MAYnia.
Okay, all right. So this was the quaint colonial house.
Yes, that was a quaint colonial.
Very, very cute, very pretty. Yes, and I actually started in the beginning, and so you can see my progress.
The Victorian
and my
Spanish.
Yes, the little hacienda is almost done. I have back stitching to do, a little bit of cross stitching. Left here. There are some specialty stitches, and I think that will be something that maybe in the future Marlene and I'll do a little tutorial, because I've seen a number of people say that, they're putting beads, which beads are wonderful. I love to use beads too, but it's nice to have the option to do a colonial knot or a French knot. And so we'll do some little tutorials too with some of those stitches. But this is my progress. I'm hoping to add the next 2 boxes. I'm actually using this for one of my challenge groups that I'm
going to
stitching in.
Spanish casita for Stitch MAYnia.
Okay. We're also doing the fox and rabbit. Is that what it's called? Rabbit and fox, fox and rabbit. Mystery stitch along. The designer for that company does a mystery one challenge every year. And they're always beautiful. And we decided to do this one this year because it's called Changing Seasons, and it was just appropriate for us. And so the first month, these boxes, and then there's 2 outer borders. It's going to be very large. It's a very large piece. Then in February, this was what came out, just only the center box. And in March, there's a little motif that kind of mimics this almost Quaker looking like motif. And that will go on each corner here. And then now for April, there was a design that actually says spring here, and it's flowers, like a vase with flowers that arch over here. So it's really pretty. I'll show you mine. Marlene, while I'll get mine out, do you want to show them the overdyed color that you used in yours? Can you find it? And I'll get mine.
Okay. Yeah, I have to go get it. It's in my little stitching case.
Okay. And then so while she goes and gets that, I'll show you what I have done on mine. I have my boxes done, and I'm working on the center. In that, the one center that has the most stitched, the only thing that I'm missing is some back stitching. And so I don't know. I always say purple is my least favorite color, and yet every time I pick something, it seems like there's the purple, and so now here I am with purple. But I don't know, maybe I don't dislike purple as much as I think I do.
Yeah, this was for the overdyed part here in the center. And I actually decided, instead of just doing cross stitches, I actually did these as Smyrna crosses.
And I copied her, and I did them too, because it was supposed to be just a cluster. Move it up a little closer. It was supposed to be just a cluster of 4 cross stitches, but she switched it and did Smyrnas. And this is a silken color, and it's called Fond Remembrance. So it's really, really pretty colors. I'm also using a silken color in mine, that's the one that I said has more purple in it than I thought it would, is called Granite. But it's a silken color. And then we just kind of chose colors that would coordinate with that. And it's still a work in progress. It's been very challenging for us because we're trying to put the colors where we want them. And then knowing that there's more to the design, but we don't know exactly what it's going to look like.
And it's supposed to be coordinating with the seasons.
So we're trying to coordinate it with the seasons.
But we don't want a ton of colors, because then it looks kind of too busy.
It's too busy and disjointed. And then the last SAL that we're doing is also a little house, and mine is very sad. I'm very far behind. It's fall on the farm. I'm hoping, Marlene showed you when she talked about her favorite designers, she showed you the Farmhouse Christmas. This is kind of along the same lines, but it's all fall theme. I'm hoping she's going to do one for every season. So Marlene, what do you have done?
This is all I have done, just the boxes and some grass.
But I really like the boxes, how they're all different colors.
Yeah, I liked that too.
It's
really
different.
And different designs are not all the same.
Oh, even the stitch design is different.
Yeah. This one is like almost like a little fence, and then this one is more like a little flower, kind of. So
those are our SALs. If you don't know, SAL it stands for Stitch Along. Yes. So those are our stitch alongs that we're doing. We're from here. Then we're going to just talk a little bit about our upcoming month, our plans for next month. And before we start on that, I want to just say that in March, we saw a lot of people on FlossTube. They were talking about March Madness. We are avid basketball fans. Any basketball and college and pro. But we also love football, college and pro football, and big Cardinal baseball fans. Our mother was a huge Cardinals baseball fan and always cheered for them, and so we kind of inherited that too. But off track a little bit, but March Madness, we looked at what some people were doing, and then we kind of tweaked it, and we decided we were going to be really crazy, and we wanted to actually select 64 projects. Most of them were started
to go along with the 60,
because there's a field of 64 college basketball teams, and so we assigned a project for each
I
line
think it's upside down.
on the, no, I
No,
think
it's
it's right.
Oh, yeah, it's right.
For each line on here. But when the first game is played, so this was the first matchup, a team loses, obviously. You can't have two winners. So that meant that cross-stitch project did not get any stitches. It got put back in the storage bin. And then the team that advanced, or for in this case, our cross-stitch project that advanced, we stitched 100 stitches on it. So each time that it advanced, we did another 100 stitches. And then as they got eliminated, that project got put away. But starting with a field of 64, there were 32 projects that didn't get even a single stitch because they lost the very first game. And so based on that, then we have our 31 projects that we're going to use for Stitch Mania. So they're not all new starts. We do have some new starts, which we'll share. But and our group is doing it differently. I created a little event on Facebook for this, and some of the people in the group decided that they just wanted to choose one focused project, and they're committing to stitch on that one project every single day in May. Or they chose a couple of projects. I have 31 projects.
I have 32 actually.
Marlene has 32. She's going to have to stitch on 2 in one day. So Marlene, why don't you tell us a little bit about how you're going to structure
so
your
I put mine on a little calendar.
Stitch Mania.
So I have mine here in my little stitch planner. So I have one project assigned for each day. And so I'm going to stitch on it as much as I can for that day and see how much progress I can make on it. And then some of my projects are smaller. So if I happen to finish the project and still have time to stitch, then I'm going to go back and stitch on something that I didn't finish. But I can only stitch on things that are here on my May calendar. I can't go back and do something that I worked on like in March or something. I can only stitch on something that's here on my May calendar that I've already stitched.
So she can't jump ahead.
No, I can't jump
and
ahead.
stitch on something. So she's set some very specific rules for herself.
Yes, I have.
I don't have so many rules. I keep my things very simple. I also filled out a May calendar. You'll notice I have a blue and a pinkish red on each of my calendar days. That's because I have decided that I am going to do a finish every day in May. So that's the blue project. So the very first thing, I have a Lizzie Kate 4 Seasons project that is all stitched, and I am doing a finishing for it. And Marlene's is done. So I gave myself 2 days to get both of those finished. And then down here is my cross stitch project that I want to do. And what I'm going to do is try to just get 100 stitches put in on that cross stitch project. Whatever the project is for the day, I want to get at least 100 stitches put in. If I do more, that'll be great, but at least 100 stitches on that project. So that's how my Stitch Mania is going to work. So not all new starts, but we do have some new starts. So Marlene, what new starts do you have for May?
One of them, although it's the very first one that I get to work on, it's May 1st. It's Lizzie Kate, A Little Mystery. This one came out a few years ago. And it's...
because it's a mystery, you don't see a lot. You just get a little glimpse
of some of the things that are going to be.
What it's going to be.
Yeah.
Now this was a sampler and then some smalls also, right?
Yes, I believe so.
So you see, like, here's a little basket, really pretty colors.
Yes. So anyway, so that's actually my very
And you're
first
using the
stitch.
called for colors and flosses, I think. Yes, the called for fabric and flosses.
And it's actually my May 1st.
Oh,
project.
so maybe when we do our next floss tube, you can show us some progress.
Yes.
Okay. One of my new starts is, again, Faithwurks. This was a project that she had in the fall, Awesome Autumn. It's a little pillow. And what I like about it is that I'm going to get to use a new thread. new to me, Trinway silks. And she's all these beautiful colors. Aren't they just luscious looking for fall? And what is really unique about the Trinway silks is that she also dyes the silk ribbon to coordinate. So you see how these two go together. And so it's just, that's really unique for somebody to have that. And we're using...
What are you going to use what do you use the silk for? Is it
the
for
silk
finishing,
ribbon?
actually?
Yes, the silk ribbon is for the finishing on the pillow. We're going to do a ruching trim on the pillow with that silk ribbon.
Oh, I'm glad you're going to finish it for me.
Yeah, it's going to be very fun. So anyway, so that's one of my new starts for May.
Okay, another new start for me. I'm so excited about this one. This is Quaker Rocky Road. It's a Tempting Tangles design. And I'm going to stitch it over 1 on 28 count fabric.
Ooh.
And these are the threads, dinky dye threads.
Oh, look at how pretty those
yes,
colors
they're
are.
luscious colors. And I love chocolate, so this is why I picked this design in the first place, because it has
Look at
chocolate.
all these colors.
Aren't they gorgeous?
Yes, really pretty colors.
So anyway, I'm going to get to start this one. So
Yeah,
I'm
it's sort
very
of making
excited.
me want chocolate now, like a
See,
dark
look at the
chocolate.
Yeah, see the chocolate.
That's a really, really unique design, really different.
So anyway, so that's another new start in May. I'm very excited for that one.
One of my new starts, another new start, is Autumn Hydrangea Fog.
Ooh,
This is a Chatelaine. Really, now when Mylene and I stitch Chatelaine, you can
get the kit.
You can get a kit, and because she calls for a lot of threads, we use Anchor Floss because it calls for some 6-stranded.
DMC,
and then,
it calls for DMC, but we switch it to Anchor.
And then we use other floss that we have, so we change it out. So I'm going to be using this is my, I can't remember, I think it's Antique Cashel. I had it written down here. Anyway, it's a 28 count. This will be my fabric. And then I'm going to be using some Weeks Dye Works and some sampler threads and just really pretty kind of muted colors. So these are
treasure braids.
And lots of sparkly treasure braids.
Treasure braids.
That are really pretty.
I really like stitching with the treasure
We're going to be
braids.
using an overdyed. We need just a little pop of color, and so this was one that we found that's pretty. I'm excited to use that. It looks really, it's got a lot of color change, which makes those fun to stitch with.
I think it'll be. I think it blends. Really
It does.
pretty with
It blends really pretty with those. We were having a hard time finding a color that we thought was going to work, but I think this will go good with that. So that is going to be a new start for me. I'm very excited to start that one.
Very excited. Yes,
Do you have any other new starts?
Yes, one more new start. I have more, but a lot of them are small, so I'm hoping that I get a lot done. But this one's a really fun one. This is a hands-on design. What I make with my hands, I give with my heart. And it's done with the sulky threads. I've never used these before, so I'm excited to try them. And then it also has some really cute little fun add-on things.
Oh, that's for down here on the bottom.
Down on the bottom.
It's cute little buttons. It's wool. It's a wool. The wool cutouts.
Yeah, they're already
flowers.
made. They're already done, and so you just tack them on. And so anyway, I think it's gonna be
button.
with the button.
Really
so I think
pretty.
It's gonna be really.
Really
design,
fun, really cute
fun.
design. I love the way she does a lot of really nice finishing techniques, and she has good directions for that. The last one that's going to be a new start for me is a drawn thread, Wildflower Garden.
That's so pretty.
It is very pretty. Have you done this one already?
Yes, I have it done. That one's done.
And it's stitched with silks. So these are the silks that I have that we use. So
it's fun. It was a really fun
and
project.
it's going to just be on an antique cream colored fabric.
There's
So
different stitches on it, and then
so I'm excited. That's going to be a new start for me.
that is gonna be fun.
Marlene and I are going to be working this afternoon on making some thread drops for these projects. Because you can see that they're kind of a mess right now. They're just all mashed together. My husband is a track coach, and it happens that he's at regionals this weekend up in Lubbock. So it was a perfect time for Marlene to come down and for us to get together. One of the
I only
things,
live about 10 minutes, 10
maybe
minutes
10
away from
minutes
her,
away, so
we're
we live close.
So we get
And
together often.
yes, we do. We get together and we
stitching
stitch. We do stitchy stuff, or we help each other. We just finished organizing craft rooms, and so anyway, one of the things too that we make sure we do when we get together is we have easy things so that we don't spend time cooking. We're gonna have dinner together, but we're not gonna go out. So we're making taco salad, and it's all pretty much ready. So we'll have that for dinner at some point when we get hungry. We're gonna, of course, you can't have a Friday without a happy hour. So we actually have a bottle of wine chilling. It's a local wine from New Mexico. And so that's what we're going to do the rest of this afternoon and this evening. We hope that you all have a wonderful weekend. And years ago, one of our sisters gave us a poster that Marlene and I had hanging in our bedroom growing up. And it said, "A day without laughter is like a day without sunshine." And so from us sisters here in the sister city,
in the Sun City, wherever you are, bring your own sunshine
and keep on stitching. We'll see you next week for our next Floss Tube video. Bye, everyone.
Bye.